Alright, I think that is everything. Alright, hi! Welcome to the stream. For those of you who are watching offline, we are continuing our comic-based attacks in Artfight today. So I'm going to be working on comic pages 12 through 15. I finished comic page 11 earlier today, so that's the one that's on the screen currently. And we're gonna do our best to not finish, but I want to at least get all of them lined. I think that would be a good goal. Get them all lined, and if there's time, do a little bit of coloring, but I think it's mostly just gonna be line work. So, without further ado, I think we shall get started. Just switch. Oh, so this is page 12. Hi, welcome to the stream. Let me push up the chat a little bit. No, I do not want to full screen it. I just want to push it up to the top so that I can actually see it over top of my tablet. Hi Ruth, welcome to the stream. We're gonna be continuing working on the comics today. Here is here's page 11. I finished that earlier today, so we don't need to worry about finishing that. I already did everything, posted it. You can see it on my Artfight portfolio. My phone is at 3%, but other than that, I have 30 minutes. What comes first, the 30 minutes of your phone dying? And here is page 12. This one, I get a horrible diagnosis. I know! I was so happy with how that turned out. I'll have to mess with halftones more in some of my more digital work because it was really satisfying to use. This one I got a horrible diagnosis. I think it's a fun transition because on this page, the last panel, they're like, oh my gosh, it's so great. Everything's being solved. We have a direction, we know where we're going, and the local spider's gonna help us out. Great, that's great. It's so bad. It's so bad. No new cells? Correct. And then you're like, oh my gosh, if we don't get this fixed, she might die in a couple days. Not great. So, gonna go off and heroically save herself. But see, here's the thing. Needs a blood transfusion first, you know. Just to top it up. Just keep the blood going. And then in the meantime, we've got the greatest crew ever. They're out in the snowy city and they're like, so do we have any info other than in my dimension? Nope. Absolutely not. If we could bait him out, and then I come running onto the scene having just finished my blood transfusion, so ready to get back out here and save my life. It'll be great. Oh, perfect. And then I'm going to be acting as bait because for some reason this gunman is targeting me. Not great. However, who's very clearly visible, which means he wants something from me, which means he wants me to hunt him. So, I'm going to be using me as bait to try and get him out. But unfortunately, we don't have any idea on how long this is going to take. And it's a rather cold, snowy city, so we'll see how a person with blood loss handles being out in the cold for, you know, a little fair bit amount of time. Won't be serious blood loss, though. She did just recently get a blood transfusion, after all. So, I stated earlier, but you may have missed it, Ruth. The goal is to try and get all of the line art done, and we'll go from there. My guess, not well. No, not really. No! I always do that. How's... Okay, it's not bad. It's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. Hold on. Does that fix it? I always hate when... now I need to readjust it. That's okay. I think that shows all the details. Okay, we're good. It's fine. I hate when I accidentally move my other window and not my working window, because then it just messes up your guys' view of it. So when I'm doing comics, I usually start with the boxes first. That way I have an idea of where my character needs to be drawn and where it does not. Oh, and then I got so into the... That is too small. I need that to be at a 20, not a 15. The brush size. So I got pretty into making the thumbnails for the pages. So I ended up actually thumbnailing page 16 as well. That one I think is fun because I designed all of the different panels to be held in a building and make it look as if the building windows were the comic panels. Obviously the scaling of the windows is a bit off, but I thought it was fun. Sometimes if I'm not feeling like I can tackle a page, I'm like, well, that's okay. I don't need to tackle the page. I just need to tackle the boxes. Just start on the boxes. We don't have to do the page. We just can do the boxes. And somehow that makes it so much easier. Because then I end up just sliding into actually doing the rest of the work. I trick myself into doing it. Honestly, it's kind of funny. And I need to choose a color that I want to be the overall background color. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. I still need to do the line art. I was thinking about the snowflakes. And if you're wondering, what's on the bottom? Why is there like these tubing things? I'm just gonna have the the IV line with blood in it on the bottom of the page. 'Cause why not? Could be fun. Let me pull up the reference picture. Lucky, I was wondering that. Yay, sometimes I do guess correctly what people are thinking. Other times, I'm probably asking questions that no one else is thinking. Either is fine. Alright, pull up character for my personal reference. And we can get started on the lines. And if you're, actually you can't see it. Okay, so do you want to guess how many layers, like, you know when you make layers, they automatically come up with a name for them and it just starts counting? You want to guess how many layers that this Photoshop file thinks I have? It only looks bad if you just look at the numbers. If you look at the entire document, it's really not that bad. My coworker is gonna let me borrow her Pokemon games for the DS tomorrow. Ooh! How exciting! Which ones are you gonna play? No clue. Alright, so I am on layer 98. In actuality, though, there's not nearly that many layers on this file. It's just because anytime I finish up a section, I just do a save as to start the next section of lines or comics. And I don't, it just for some reason saves the layer number, so now I just have an extremely high layer number count for no reason. It's great. So what games are you gonna be playing? I've only played like 2 Pokemon games on the DS. I played Pokemon Diamond, and then I played Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Mystery Dungeon was, I mean, I heard the story was good. I just had a really hard time getting into the actual story of it. Well, the gameplay, because I found it very tedious. And also I accidentally destroyed my DS buttons by playing Pokemon Diamond. I played it so much, I had over 100 hours into it because I was a kid. I didn't understand how the Pokemon fighting system worked. So then I decided to just brute force it. And because I brute forced it, that meant I needed to level up my Pokemon to an extreme amount. So I think my Empoleon on there is, what level is it at? It was very close to 100. I don't know if I actually got it to 100, but it was pretty darn close. I had no strategy except just attack until, I pretty much sweeped the entire Elite Four with my Empoleon because it was high enough level that I could pretty much one-shot everything. So then the issue became having enough power points to actually being able to defeat everyone rather than health. It was really an inefficient way to defeat the Elite Four. Come on. I think I had another one, come in to help out, but all 6 of the, there's 6 Pokemon in the little, just as the, what's it called? When you beat the Elite Four, they take your picture with all your Pokemon to say, here, you did such a good job. Here's all of the Pokemon that helped out. They didn't help out. They were just there as moral support and as backup, just in case my Empoleon for some reason decided to, not be alive anymore. Do anything. They just kind of sat there. So tragic. I assume you mean the buttons, me destroying the buttons. Yeah. I moved right so often in the game, I could no longer... I have to press super hard on that button now if I want the DS to register it. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. It's so non-satisfying to push. I hate it. So anytime I'm playing a DS game that doesn't require a stylus, I just play on my sibling's DS. But yeah, now I know strategy much better now. And one time I decided that I would... Actually, did I defeat the Elite Four with... I think I did. It was a little ridiculous, but I did it. I defeated the Elite Four using a Cricketune as one of the pivotal team members. And you're wondering, how is a Cricketune gonna help you defeat the Elite Four? One answer. The Cricketune knew Perish song. So so I managed to, I think it took out the Garchomp with with Perish song. I had to play very specifically, but I got it done in the end. Hello! Welcome to the stream! I didn't think I was gonna be here today, but I am. Welcome, welcome! We are just talking about the cursed ways I've defeated the Elite Four in Pokemon. Thinking about it, I was doing a Nuzlocke at one point, and I'm starting to have doubts that I'll be able to complete it at the end because of all of the just like cursed ways that I've defeated the Elite Four. One, I did it by horribly over leveling my Pokemon. The other from just using Pokemon that didn't quite fit, so then I had to brute force it a lot and come up with a very specific strategy on how it's actually going to be done. Oh my. Maybe that's why I've been procrastinating playing that game. Not because I've had other things catch my attention, no, but because I know that I had the most cursed thing going on and oh goodness. Ant, welcome to the stream. We were talking about Pokemon. I think the only other I have played some other Pokemon games. Of the main line games, I've had Legends of Arceus, and what else? Pokemon Violet. Played those ones. Of the non-mainline games, there was this specific Wii game that I played. What was it called? One of the main features of that game was there was a bunch of mini games and you could run around as I think we were running around as a Pikachu. We were, I think, restoring a park. Was it called Pika Park? There was a tree swinging game that I enjoyed. What page is it? We are currently on page 13. If you want, I can switch over to page 11 and 12 to show you how that one turned out. I'm pretty happy with how page 11 turned out, and we'll see hope page 12 finishes up, but I do have all the line art finished for that one. Other than... Wait, is it thundering outside or is it just windy? I have no idea. Alright. What else did I do with my week? Went to work. Oh, I was working on updating my book dummy for my picture book today. I sent it off to one of my old professors to take a look at so I could get some critiques. And he did give me some critiques, which was good. So I spent a little bit of time today working on that. And I think I will send it back to him again tomorrow to see if that helped improve the problems that he's seeing, or if it was, okay, I just need to do a more in-depth redraw of things. Now I'm going to need to fix one of my spreads. That one is a little bit more painful to fix because my thumbnails, it's not the thumbnail version of it, it's one of the finished pieces. He said it didn't read quite clearly, which means I need to redraw it, because I don't think there's anything I could do. I might need to go back to the drawing board with that one. It needs is just it more clearly spraying dirt. Maybe? Or I could ask him specifically what about it's not reading clearly. I can take a guess. It's the fact that you can very much see her facial expressions and how she's reacting to the crash, but you're not seeing her crash into the flower spectacularly. So I probably... I'm trying to think of ways I could fix the illustration without having to redo the entire thing, but I want it to be a 2-page spread, so I think I will have to redo the entire thing. That's annoying. It's alright though. It's not like it was a waste of time. It did help me practice. Just annoying in the sense that I want to start pitching the book. I want to send it off to places, but I also know that I want it to make sense. I want people to understand what I'm writing and have it read clearly. Maybe I should take advantage of the fact that I work with children and print off the dummy book and read it to the kids and be like, all right, let me have it. What's confusing about this? Is there something that I could do? Maybe not ask them directly for what they want, because children are notoriously divided in opinions. But at least I could utilize, see if there's anything I can do to see the reception of it. You're doing great. Thank you. I appreciate it. I wanted to, so I don't know if you've heard, but I have been very slowly working on transforming my dad's garden. And I say very slowly because we've only done a couple things so far. Part of the process of transforming his garden is collecting plants to do so, be it either buying them or acquiring them through other means. I say other means because a lot of the plants that I picked out are natives to the area. So if I can find them in the environment, then I could potentially take them home and grow them in the garden. For example, I drive home and I see the orange flower that I want in the garden. It's called butterfly weed. I see it on the side of the road. So I wanted to today go out and try and take some propagations, or perhaps the entire plant if it was feasible, to relocate it and just put it into the garden. But do you know, it was so hot today. I was considering it, but it's probably not going to be a great idea to go over it and try and get some propagations at that time. That might also be me just lightly procrastinating on the project. I'm gonna go do this thing. Wait, it's like 96 outside? Okay, I'm not doing that thing now. I'll do it later when it's cooler. I'm not gonna procrastinate this whatsoever. What is happening? What are you trying to type? I'm trying to say it backwards. Okay. Don't quite understand, but sure. Okay. This is going by pretty quickly, actually. It's only been... Time is not real. What do you mean it's been a half an hour? What else did I do this week? I watched The Cat Returns. It is probably one of my more favorite Studio Ghibli movies. I just like how goofy it is. Also, Haru, she's so silly. I don't know, she's in such a rut that I feel like she's a little delayed in how she reacts to stuff. she's like stuck in the kingdom of cats, and she's like, oh, let me just look around. This is fine. And so, granted, they weren't going to be able to find the escape to the cat kingdom unless they went over to the king's exit, but like, which is at the castle. But also, she didn't want to go to the kingdom, so then she was running away from that, and then she finally is at the kingdom, and you're like, okay, well, she's gonna try and get away as soon as possible, right? No, she wants to go on a tour. She's gonna go say hi to the king, because it would be rude if she didn't. She's so silly. I'll have to look into it, but I wonder if that one's based off of a book. I know that it's like a kind of continuation of Whisper of the Heart. I'm not sure if Whisper of the Heart is a book or if it's an idea they came up with themselves. How many of Studio Ghibli's movies are book adaptations? I feel like it's simultaneously more and less than I think it would be. I'm curious now. Once I finish this sleeve, I'm gonna search it up real fast. How many Studio Ghibli films are based off of books? They, in total, have 22? They have 22 books. Or books. They have 22 films. So, at most, it's 22. Hello, Cosmic Raven! Welcome to the stream! We are contemplating Studio Ghibli films and how many of them are based off of books. I was about to look it up for myself. I was just gonna finish lining this for a second. Okay. Alright. Let's go into our research. How many Studio Ghibli movies are based on Okay. Make your guesses now. How many movies are based off of books? My personal guess is 15. It may surprise you to know that many of Studio Ghibli's films originate from literary sources. 13 of the 22 feature films have their origins in books. So we've got Grave of Fireflies, Kiki's Delivery Service, Only Yesterday, Ocean Waves, Whisper of the Heart, My Neighbors the Yamadas, The Cat Returns, Howl's Moving Castle, Tales from Earthsea, Arrietty, The Wind Rises, When Marina Was There, How Do You Live? This final film, which could potentially be Miyazaki's last, is scheduled to be released in 2020. It's based on the books. Originally, this. Okay. Wait! How Do You Live? Did that one actually release, or did that like get turned into The Boy and the Heron? How You Live. Studio Ghibli. How Do You Live? Oh, okay, okay. Dang, that got delayed a lot. 2023. So that one did become The Boy and the Heron. Wait. I feel like I need to now read all of the books that the Studio Ghibli films were based off of. Like, I've listened to the books Howl's Moving Castle. So that one was intriguing, and apparently there's a sequel. I think I need to also listen to that one. It's like a whole series. I was pretty close in my guess. So that's fun. I see no one else had any guesses. Though, to be fair, one of them did tell me they're only going to be here for like a half an hour or so. You're wondering why the bars are up? It's because it's procedure. What if Spider-Man falls out of bed? What would we do then? They need to stay in the bed. I need to look up a IV poll. Crickets. You say that as if you are not part of the crickets. IV poll. Images. Oh. It has little legs. It's almost like an octopus. It's like an octopus almost. Or perhaps a spider. There's so many things on this IV that I was not really thinking about. I've been hooked up to an IV line before. I should have known that there's more stuff on the pole than just the actual IV line, but I guess I just forgot. I guess I wasn't thinking about it. You are never more hydrated than when you are in the hospital. They said absolutely not. You are not allowed to be dehydrated on our watch. You can be dehydrated on your own watch, and we know you are. Every single one of you is dehydrated. But in here, absolutely not. Not allowed. We want you peeing on the hour, every hour. Ah, you had dinner, or lunch, or maybe breakfast. I won't judge. You had one of those things, and that's why you couldn't make a guess on how many of the Studio Ghibli films were based on books. Understandable. I won't hold it against you. There's like this little beepy machine. I guess it's just a heavy duty pull. I'm just referencing one that has like a lot of stuff on it. It doesn't necessarily need all that stuff. Include the stuff. Because I don't think it's really necessary here. Just a simple IV pull for a simple blood transfusion. I'm sure it's simple. Probably. My sibling can judge me later. Like at one point I was writing a character who got put in the hospital and like was recovering from surgery. And I was like, oh yeah, and then they get a popsicle. And my sibling's like, why did you give them a popsicle? Why wouldn't I give them a popsicle? Cause that's what I got after my surgeries. Why wouldn't I give them a popsicle? Apparently, popsicles are for pediatrics. Who would have thought? Dang, the entire sky is orange. This is an interesting sunset. I wonder if the Canadian wildfire smoke is starting to come down. Hold on. Let me check the, because we have an air quality alert. So maybe it's getting worse. Ooh, yes, it is getting slightly worse. I'm not interested in perspiration. No. Precipitation. I'm not interested in precipitation. I'm interested in air quality. Ooh, yeah. I am just on the edge of the Canadian wildfire smoke. And I bet it's gonna go down. It's gonna start going down into my city overnight. That sounds about right. How are the comic panels going? They are going good, I would say. This is... Hold on. Let me group... Oh, those layers are grouped. Okay. So this is page 13. This is page 12. I finished lining it yesterday. So we're gonna color it later. Not today, probably. Maybe today. Depends on what I'm doing. And then this is page 11, which I finished this morning. Posted in everything. So you can't see the words here, but you can see the words on Artfight. What I do is I will finish the illustrations in Photoshop and then take it into InDesign so I can lay out all of the typography. Technically, I could do the typography in Photoshop as well. It's just that it's generally better practice to do, I don't know, the words, I think, stay at a higher quality. At least that's what I've heard. Maybe it would be fine for comics. I've just heard that it's better to do it in InDesign or Illustrator rather than doing it in Photoshop. The lining on this page. Just have a couple more things to do. And we can move on to the next thing. They look so cool. Thank you so much. I've been having a lot of fun making these comics, and I think it's a little hard to tell at the moment because I'm right in the middle of it, but I think as I'm going along, the comic panels are improving. I certainly feel like I'm finding a groove as I'm going along. Just need to finish this, and we can do the upper area, and we shall be good. I've always wanted to do comics and animation, but I have the shortest attention span. Well, comics are certainly better if you have a shorter attention span, and it doesn't have to be a super long comic. You could essentially challenge your, design a character, have it be more of a slice of life comic, and then challenge yourself to do a single page in 1 or 2 sittings. That way it doesn't take all of your attention span to complete it, and you end up making a comic. It doesn't have to be nearly as polished as mine. Honestly, mine's not even the most polished comic either. I'm actively trying not to make it the most polished thing, because I want to do other things with my life than Artfight. Because as fun as Artfight is, I do have other things and responsibilities that I need to take care of. Like, you know, work, and my picture book. I was gonna try and work on my animation this month, but I don't think that's happening. Not until I have a clear sign of how many comic panels that I need to finish the story. Ideally, I would like to finish this story during this art fight. I think it would be it'd be kind of disappointing if I didn't finish it. This art fight, and I have no guarantee if people keep their characters on the site, because that's happened before where people will just take their characters off of the site. I had to DM one of the people I saved on the art fight site to re-put their characters and profile back into place. They needed to rejoin their team and unarchive their characters because they thought it might be rude if they couldn't participate but then had other people drawing their characters. And I told them, I didn't care, put your character back on. Do you know how little characters I see with this tagging? I need you to put your character back on the site. So I essentially very firmly but politely told them to get back over here. You're not, Artfight's not done with you. You can't just leave. Overall, it was very silly. I'm glad that they actually did put their characters back on, because they fully had the power to say, oh, no, I'm not doing that. What was the original comic for this? You mean, like, the first comic page? Or are you, like, perhaps referring to the comic this is based off of? Because if you're going off of the second one, based off of, this comic is not based off anything specific. It's just based off of the Spider-Man IP. The original story. This is the original story. I am writing this. This comic, this entire thing, I'm writing this story. The thing that it's referencing is Spider-Man, and it's based off of the Spider-Verse movies. But other than that, I am the one creating this story. So I did the writing for this before Artfight started. Does that answer your question? Oh, okay, because sometimes the original story gets too dark and scary, so they scrap it. Were you referencing the fact that, my character's essentially fighting against their mortality here? Congratulations, Ruth. I'm glad your phone rose from the dead. I didn't hear for you for a bit, so I figured either your phone died or you went somewhere. The concept of this story came from one of the characters. Actually, like, two of the characters that I found on Artfight inspired how I wanted to go about doing this story. Because essentially I had my character, and I generally knew how I wanted her to be able to react to situations, and then I got a villain from the Artfight site that I thought would be fun. And I won't spoil who the big bad is, because I have multiple villains in here, not just Reggie X. There's gonna be another one. The deleted scenes, yeah, no. I'm writing this one. If it's similar to another Spider-Man comic, it is not deliberate. It is a coincidence, not something I deliberately did. I have suspicions that my fridge is misbehaving, which is not a great time for fridges to misbehave. We keep a thermostat on the inside of the fridge because we were curious on how well the fridge was performing. Specifically, earlier in the year, it was performing too well, and it was freezing things in our fridge, which was not desired. But, today, I also noticed it the day before, but, the fridge was a little bit warmer than I thought it should be. And then today It was hovering around 40, and it's risen to like 47, and I don't like that. So I hope our fridge's not breaking, because that would be highly inconvenient. Appliance fixes are never fun. No. Not to mention, our dishwasher has been misbehaving this entire time. So there's also that. My dad, like, decided he was gonna, like, just permanently not have it screwed in to the counter, because very often he will have to pull the dishwasher away from the counter so that it will actually drain. Sometimes it won't drain properly. And if it doesn't drain properly, then when you turn it on again, it collects too much liquid. And then when it collects too much liquid, it just leaks all over the ground, which is highly inconvenient. The only appliance that has not done any sort of betrayal on us yet has been the oven. Every other one has some sort of agenda, and I don't know what it is. I hope that sort of thing sort of sorts itself out or gets fixed cheaply. Yeah, I hope. I mean, technically I'm not gonna be the one paying for it, but still, I can hope that it's not too expensive of a fix. My dad's pretty handy, so I think he'll be able to figure it out. Actually, I'm curious now. Because one of the things I did before the stream started was I turned the fridge's settings down to its lowest to see if I could get it to cool down. Though granted, if it's not cooling down at whatever setting it was at currently, I can't imagine that turning it down lower would do much, but one can hope. I'm curious. Alright, make your bets now. What temperature do you think the fridge is? Last temperature was at 47. Do we have our guesses? A refrigerator's ice maker was broken forever. We got ice from the store for a while and put it in the fridge. Eventually it fixed the ice problem, and the fridge is dispensing ice again. Nice. Nice. Accurate guess. Roof, that doesn't count. 49. Thankfully, it is no longer at 47. It is currently at 40, which is higher than I would like it to be. I think we usually want the fridge to sit around 34, but 46. Do you remember telling us or me not to state our age in the live chat? Yes. I don't remember stating specifically to you, but I remember stating it somewhat generally that, yeah, don't put your age in the chat. That's, yeah. What about it? Generally good practice for anywhere on the internet not to state your age. At least I think it is. That was That was the knowledge that was given to me when I was younger, was not to disclose too much information to the strangers of the internet. Sure. We told you. Stop it. Don't stop. We just said it's not good practice. I understand. And I hope things go well for you. However, I don't know who's hanging out in my YouTube channel chat section. I'm sure most of you are really lovely, and I want to believe all of you are lovely. It's fine, just don't do it. I want everyone to be lovely, however, I cannot control the internet, and I would hate for some weird person to try and contact you and use your age against you. That's not what I want. So the best thing you can do, the best thing you can do to protect yourself is not to state your age in the chat, and if someone's trying to privately message you and be weird, don't respond to them. They don't need your time. I think most people fall in that category, Owens. People on the internet are weird sometimes. And you never know what random bot is also sitting in the chat just collecting data for no reason. They don't need more information. We don't need to give them personal details like that. Not necessary. I'll be right back. Okay. I get the feeling that internet safety for me as a kid was much different than current internet safety rules. Or at least it feels that way. I don't know, who knows, maybe there's the standard rules apply, but it feels different. Like, I've heard some theories that it's better to state your age so that it's clearly known that a person who's over 18 shouldn't really be talking to you, but I don't know, that just seems wrong. The theory doesn't quite stand up in my head. Yeah, it definitely feels as though it is. I see a lot of kids in various comment sections, and I'm sure there's various kids in my comment section too, which is why I don't tend to swear a lot. I won't necessarily, completely not swear, but I try to at least not do it too often. Because one, it's not really necessary, and two, I have no idea who's sitting here. I can't really control what my audience... Well, I can kind of control my audience in terms of... I draw the things I'm interested in, and the things I am interested in tend to also be what people in my age group are interested in. Some kids will also be interested in it, but I think mostly it's my age group. Who knows? At least that's what the YouTube analytics tell me. They tell me that it's mostly 18 to 24-year-olds. And then a smaller section of every other age demographic, with the smallest one being the people in their 60s. Okay, I think hopefully this makes sense with the hair. Oh, we reached the horse track. Nice. Now we get to gallop along the seaside. Isn't it great? No, I don't think a kid saying their age is a good idea. A normal person is going to either be normal or stop talking to them. Someone with less moral intentions will be less moral. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It just, the idea of it kind of felt like it was a younger person who came up with the idea rather than a specific study. So I didn't know how to feel about it. It's just, I think it's just in general better if you don't state your name, and then also you don't talk to people you actively know are generally older. And even if they say they're younger, starting a relationship with someone online, especially as a kid, I think is just generally not good practice. You have no idea what situation you're gonna get into. Hospital bed. Can you hear me typing on my Can you hear me typing on my keyboard? Or is that not heard? I can hear the mouse clicks a little bit. Well, seeing as I'm not... Actually, I am clicking on the mouse a bit, but... If you're hearing a bunch of clicks... Like, I have a bunch of I'm using my keyboard for keyboard shortcuts, so if you're hearing continuous clicks from somewhere, that is most likely my keyboard and not my mouse, because I'm using my tablet to draw, which I made sure wasn't making any sound. Originally it was, at least yesterday, it was making scratchy sounds. I was like, you're not supposed to sound scratchy. That's not correct. Stop doing that. And I changed the nib. No, I can hear the mouse. The mouse has a higher click, and the keyboard... What's this sound right here? Can you hear the sound? Yeah? Okay, that's my keyboard. Can you hear... Hold on. Let me move my mouse to somewhere that's not going to affect anything. Can you hear this? Say yes, mouse. Because, yeah, you can hear that? Okay, so you can hear both, but they sound different, I'm sure. So the higher... Yeah, so the higher one is the mouse. The slightly deeper thunk is the keyboard. But also my mind might be playing tricks on me. I'm sure you can hear some of it. I was just curious. So I do know my keyboard is louder than an average keyboard, because I bought it specifically to be that way. I wanted a slightly noisy keyboard, just for the sake of it. Honestly, in terms of keyboards, it wasn't too bad. I think I spent $60 on my keyboard. And it's a mechanical keyboard, I think it's called, or analog keyboard? It's one of the thicker, chunky ones. Not the ones that are flat. I think those hospital beds turning out well. Nice. Kinda. Yes, mouse, they sound. What lovely discussions we're having. The different sounds of keyboards and mice. How's the music volume? It feels loud in my ears, but that might just be me. I know I said it, so it'd be less loud for you guys. What's your favorite part of the your comic making process? It's in between writing the story out for it and getting to draw the different facial expressions that all the characters have. Because I love facial expressions. So I find it really fun when I get the opportunity to have characters reacting and making different facial expressions. I also like pacing it out, so when I get a very satisfying sequence and being able to like flip back and forth from them and it's amusing, that's a pretty good, nice part of the comic making process. Balance is fine. Excellent. Okay, that's good. I shall be the only one suffering from sound then. Good. See, we're gonna do this special thing to make this feel more like a hospital ward. It's called copy and pasting. Oh, my father is home. Excellent. Okay, and then we're gonna make this slightly smaller. Cool. And we're gonna copy and paste this again. And make it smaller. And you may be thinking, Alyssa, I don't like that it's seen over the character. That's okay, we can fix it. We have the technology. Do not worry, do not worry. It's just sometimes the sound becomes a lot when it wasn't bothering me before. I turned it down on my headphones, so even though the desktop audio is still the same, so it didn't change for you, it's lower for me now. Do not worry, I'm not actually suffering. I'm just being silly. Turn it up, blow out your eardrums, blow out our eardrums. No! No! Try and maintain lower volume for myself over my lifetime. I'm not ruining that. I don't want to make my tinnitus worse. Tinnitus? Tetanus? No. What is it called? When your ears just lightly ring all of the time. Not a lot, just a little bit. I can't remember what it's called. I'm blaming orchestra for that, though. Give me a second. Hey, Dad. Maybe the fridge is working, but, the thermostat was reading at 47 at one point. I turned it down to the lowest setting that I could to see if I could get it down, and it's now currently at 40, at least the last time I checked. But I don't know why the fridge was doing that. Oh boy. And here I thought the dishwasher was going first. I hope you'll reach 10,000 subscribers soon. I think that was a little far off. Thank you for the wishes, though. I think that will be a little ways off. I just recently reached 5,000, which is nice. But unless I post a video that does super well, we might be waiting a bit on that one. That's okay. I don't need to reach the milestone super quickly. It allows me to build up my audience a way that's authentic. When you build up an audience slowly, they care more about the work you make and not individual pieces. So then they're more likely to stay long term, which is more what I care about rather than building a huge viewer base super quickly. Dang it. As frustrating as the process can be at times, overall I think it's healthier for the channel if it's a little bit slower going. Okay. Well, I got most of those. Let me lower the opacity. on these so that they fall more and more into the background, and we can combine these all together. Fantastic. My work friend is very close to being legally deaf in one ear due to marching band in a drum line for all of high school. Yeah, it's those big instruments. You're so close to them. Yeah. I feel like it should have been a requirement at some point to get like some of those fancier earbuds that the bands will use when they are playing on the stage, so that way they can still hear their music, but also they're not, you know, ruining their hearing over the long term. Okay. How's this looking? I think some bits are lightly messy, but it's not the worst thing I've done. Quickly take care of some of the more messy bits, but I think I'll leave most of it, because truly it does not matter all that much. It's sliding into the background anyway. You can tell what's going on, and that's the important bit. I really like the second panel. Oh, thank you. And the last. I think her head. There's something about this panel, the first panel, that's not jiving with me. I think it's too realistically proportioned. I think that's my issue. That's better. Yeah, that's better. I like all of them, but I like those two specifically. Thank you. Yeah, I like all of them too. I think this page overall is going to look very nice. Just need to erase this random line right here, and I think I can call this good. Give her a tiny bit of context with the seat. Yeah. One of my favorite things with digital drawing is just, I can do nonsense so easily. Like, I can just make things bigger and smaller, and it's easy enough to do. Like right now, not that you can see it, you'll see it in a second, but I'm using the liquify tool to fix some of the proportions, because they just didn't feel right. There we go, that's better. As a traditional artist, I envy your abilities. Thank you. It's not too terribly hard to learn, but it does take a little bit of practice. I believe in you, though. There's plenty of free programs you can look at if you want to try it out. Affinity is the newest free program, so if you have access to a desktop, you can certainly learn with that. That one acts as InDesign, Illustrator, and Photoshop all in one, which was kind of fun. It was interesting. When I downloaded it to test it out, I wasn't expecting all 3 of the program functions to be in the same app, because Adobe got me used to having separate programs for separate things. So it felt kind of weird to have all 3 of them be just in the same thing. Okay, I saved that, which means we are all set to move on to page 14. It used to be around $70, and they were split into 3. And then for some reason, they just decided to combine all of them and make it free. Not sure exactly what happened there. That was interesting, though. Okay. We have about 5 people with us right now. That's nice. This page is going to be very silly. Essentially, we're going to have 3 spider people looking down at the city. It's all snowy. They're like, so do we have any info on this? Or are we just gonna wander around? And everyone's consensus is, I think we're just gonna wander around until we find something. Spider-Man indeed. Though most of the spider people I've been drawing have been women. I'm just stretching real quick before I get into the next one. I think we're at a good pace this week, though, because I already have 1 complete. I have 2 fully lined, and I have 3 more thumbnails. So I think I'm definitely on pace to at least getting 20 comics by the 20 comic pages by the end of the month. We can see if I can try and get 25, and hopefully 25 is enough to finish the story. If I pull out my notebook, where did I put my notebook? I have a notebook detailing the story. Is it on the desk? Yes, it's on the desk. I just can't see it. Are they good? The point meme? They could be in the point meme. Okay, so in terms of my composition notebook, we have finished. Oh god. Oh no. Oh no. Hey, so you want to guess what page of the composition notebook I'm on in terms of the comic panels? It's not good. Oh no. Any guesses, or should I just say? I might just say. Alright, I'm just gonna say it. I wrote out 15 pages for this in my composition notebook. This was just a general overview of how I wanted the story to go. And currently, we are on, at least I have thumbnailed out page, up to page 3. We're on page 3. Oh no. Am I gonna be able to finish this? Okay, some of this is just written dialogue, so I might be able to once I get further in, because I think I started expanding out everything, because at first I was generally just doing the overview, so then the story itself was more condensed, so it took more pages to get through what I had written down, and now I'm getting into pages where I'm doing dialogue. So hopefully that means I'll start going through the pages quicker. You okay? I'm generally fine. It's just my goal of completing this. Like, entire story was to be done by the end of the month. And we're about halfway through. And we're not halfway through the written content that I have. We're near the beginning. I think it'll be okay. It'll be fine. I start like actually writing things out in dialogue. It'll be fine. We'll be good. I'll be able to finish this. No problem. It'll be fine. Oh. Let's just keep going. No time to panic. We just need to draw. I think I thought about doing some other attacks that weren't related to the comic. That's funny. That was a funny thought. That's definitely not happening. Not anytime soon. That page took me so long to do, at least with the lining, because I had a very dedicated background. This one might also take me a bit. There's a lot of characters on it. Gotta go soon. Okay, Ruth. Thank you for joining on the stream. It was a lovely time. Hopefully you can join next week's. We'll be doing the same darn thing, except we'll have 5 new pages. Be interesting to compare my first page versus my last page. once I have all of this finished. See how the style, because I bet the style will slightly change. That's usually what happens. My motivation for Artfight seems to have fallen off the cliff. No, not the cliff. You're supposed to keep your motivation away from the cliff. It's not good for it. In all seriousness, though, dang, I'm right next to my computer. So squeaky. All seriousness, though, what has you lost? Why have you lost your motivation? Is it like just trying to tackle too much? Too many days? Too many attacks? Let's see if I can find a reference image of someone standing, looking down. Will that give me what I want? No, it'll give me the direct opposite. Looking down at someone. Oops, though. I'm seeing the front of the person, and I want the back of the person. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm gonna find that with this search. Certainly closer, though. Oh! I found one. Found a reference. Perfect. Too many attacks on the first few days, mostly, and work. Yeah, that can happen. Especially if you're not used to doing a whole bunch of artwork at a time, and then you force it at the very beginning because you're super excited, and then all of your motivation just goes, that was a lot of time and effort, and my fingers kind of hurt. Why are we doing this again? Well, you can always try doing something slightly different. I know that whenever I'm getting in a rut with my artwork and it's not interesting anymore, that means I need to do something else because my brain has become bored. So you could, for example, you could find a really tiny character, like something that's simple, and draw them doing like very small, tiny, silly things, just making different expressions. And you could just do a whole bunch of doodles of the character. That could be interesting. Or, if you've already done 22 attacks so far, which is a decent amount of attacks, you can take a break. The event lasts all month. It would not hurt to take a break for a couple days and get back to it if you want to. At the end of the day, this is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to make you stress out too much. Okay. I need to pull up different character, because Spider Glacier is the next one we're going to be drawing. I think the character's pronouns are he, him. No idea. The spider suit in general is kind of androgynous, and then the name is also androgynous. I only draw ferals, so it limits me in attacking people I would like to attack. Whenever I lose motivation, I try and study a new art style and use the Artfight character as an experiment. That's a good idea. And you can always try a new medium too. Like, I've heard some crazy attacks. Like, one person made a character from a pie, so they just baked a pie with the character. So you could always do something crazy. Or maybe not as crazy, but you could try out a different medium. Like cut paper is really fun to do. I did my senior thesis with that one. I had a lot of fun with it. Dad. B. Owen says bless you. He says thank you. I do want to make a plush of a character for Artfight. Ooh, that's intriguing. You could try that. That could be fun. Do you make many plushies? I make plushies on the occasion. I have several designs at this point. I've got a frog plushie, a crow plushie, a fish plushie, and a manta ray plushie. Manta rays are going to be new for Comic-Con this year. Or technically Comic-Con in the fall. Or at least if I get in. I assume I'll get in, because I've gotten in all the previous other times. They just kind of leave you in suspense for a bit, so technically, I'm not in yet. Most likely I will be. But I have no guarantees. So they might throw me through a loop and decide not to include me for whatever reason next year. Are these boots or high-top sneakers? Hard to say. Night, Dad. Sleep well. If you somehow still have a TikTok, I don't have it anymore. I was Boston, and you were able to see some of my plushies. I do still have a TikTok. Maybe I'll look it up later. Perhaps. What plushies did you make? Were they character-based, or were they more animal-based? You did mention doing mostly ferals, so that would make sense for the type of plushies you would make. First perspective is so fun. Half the time I don't feel like I'm doing it correctly. Animal, I've made both my characters listed on Artfight as plushies. Ooh. How fun. I love that for you. I have technically made one of my characters into a plushie. One of the characters on my Artfight portfolio is called Bean. He is a comic character that I've had for a while now. And he... very simple shapes, so he is easy to... he was easy to make into a plushie. I have a harder time with that forced perspective. I think that overall went well. It's fine enough. Now we can focus on the characters' faces over here. Had to check real quick to make sure my brush was at the correct size. It felt like I was drawing too thick, but also I'm zoomed in a lot. So that is probably what's making my brush feel too big. All the characters got a little snow mask and everything. How fun. What time do I have work tomorrow? Because depending on when I have work tomorrow, will depend on when I end the stream. Thinking about ending the stream in about 12 minutes. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to end the stream in 12 minutes or so, because I have to get to work at 9:30 tomorrow. Okay. Oh, there's gonna be two groups of children. Okay. Alrighty then. Good to know. I'm still gonna be here for another 11 minutes. You don't have to leave. Just we're gonna keep in mind that I have work. So we're not gonna keep this going forever. I want it to be super windy. So I'm gonna draw the characters with everything blowing in the wind. Fluffy. Also, for the just the sake of shape language, I am going to make Spider Glacier taller and also just a touch bit buffer than the other two. Because all of my spider people have been very similar in size. So I want to change that. Just a little bit. Always have to have a little bit of shape variation with your characters. That way you can tell who's who from a distance. You know, it's really fun that since I've been drawing a lot of the same characters over and over for my Artfight attacks, I don't have to look at them as often in order to draw them accurately. I have their character designs memorized just a little bit in my head. That probably also means I am going slightly off script with them. Making my own design headcanons for them. Not overly. I haven't been drawing them that much. No, I'm drawing. It's just in case I get distracted. Fair enough. Well, I'll definitely let you guys know when I end the stream. I'm not just gonna randomly end the stream without you knowing. That would be silly. Used by the idea of all of these spider people just huddling around Spider Glacier because Spider Glacier has a really poofy coat. And I think it's great. Yes. Huddled together like penguins, even though you are spiders. Just out of curiosity, how many people do we currently have? Oh, not too bad. Got about 4. It's about the usual amount of people I have. It was crazy, the first Artfight stream I did for the year. It just had so many people joining in. I wonder if as Artfight's wrapping up, we'll get more people again on the stream, or if that's just the beginning of Artfight hype, because that's very much what that stream was, the beginning of Artfight hype. Would spine ridges showing be considered extreme gore? They're fine with gore, and it's a radioactive dog. I guess it depends on how the spine ridges are. I think that wouldn't be considered gore. I think that would be considered body horror. You would have to re-look at the warnings, but I think it'd be considered body horror, and it depends on how much you push it. If it's like clearly, maybe if it's like light starvation, you might not have to include body horror, but if it's like extreme and slightly mutated, you might want to just include the tag to be safe. Better to be slightly cautious than completely miss it. I think overall you should be fine though. For one of my actually a couple of my Artfight attacks, I had to label it body horror because the character itself was just considered like 12 from actually Ray Ninja had eyes all over their body, and they were warned that it was potentially considered body horror. So if having eyes just randomly across your body in a cartoon style is considered body horror, then the spines might be considered so as well. Can't forget the shiver lines. Gotta make sure it is known these spider people are cold and we're not prepared to jump into a frosty wasteland. I was thinking the bone ridge is showing through the fur. Yeah, you might... You could always, would biblically accurate angels be body horror? Maybe? I don't know. I guess it really depends on the person. I personally wouldn't, but also I think I'm pretty tolerant to some odd things in art. Other people may be more sensitive to it. I'm not sure. Sensitive in just the sense that they don't want to see it, not that it's a bad thing. Jumping. Not jumping, leaping. Leaping forward. Do a search of leaping forward, and Pinterest automatically assumes that I want pictures of people, not anything else. Which is very much correct. These are some good poses, but I just need... it pointing in the other direction? I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be. I'm just being picky. It's fine. think just do a bit of this pose first, and then we'll call it a night. Okay, so shoulder is slightly back. And then the hand slightly up. Love hands. They're so fun. They're not confusing whatsoever, no. Why would they be confusing? Sorry, I'm not talking a lot. I am so concentrated on trying to make this pose work. Oh boy. Feet. Perhaps lightly tilted forward. I'm gonna have to do so much erasing of the lines. I just want it to look a little scrunkly, you know? I think I got it. I think I got the pose. Is scrunkly enough. Hold on. There we go. I just needed to tilt it forward a bit. So scrunkly. I'm playing Minecraft. Good for you, Ant. Building anything fun? Oh! I was wondering why my mouse was just performing oddly. Or not my mouse, my pen. It's because the nib wasn't pushed all the way in. No wonder I was having a hard time using it. Love that. Actually, I don't, but you know, love that. We're just gonna clean this up a bit. And then we'll call it a night. You may be wondering, Alyssa, why don't you just line over this? I want to keep the energy of the pose. Lining over it's going to kill some of the energy. So we're just gonna clean up the little sketch I made, because technically this was supposed to be the line art layer. Now I just sketched it. Yeah, this is already looking much better. Very much in the, this is the, I am so focused, I'm just drawing, which is not great because when you're streaming you're supposed to talk. But I feel like there's a certain point of time when you're streaming that you just forget to talk. I'm gonna do something slightly funky with this hand. I'm gonna backwards bit, because that's fun. Hate dog legs at the moment. Fair enough. I don't know what's happening with this leg over here. What are you doing, sir? Mr. Leg, please behave. Still slightly messy, but much better now. I think that pose is fun. Alright, I could potentially try and finish this, but I've already gone over the 10 minutes I allotted for myself. So, thank you guys so much for joining in on the stream. It was a lot of fun. I think we've made a decent amount of progress here. I will be streaming again next week at 8:30. I will most likely finish these Artfight attacks before then, though. So if you want to see them, you can go follow my Artfight profile. The link is in my description. And until then, I shall see you all later. Have a good rest of your week and night. Bye. Yeah, see you next Wednesday.